Your mind, my friends, is like a lake. When it is agitated by the wind of worries and fears, the waters cloud over and your vision is lost. You cannot see the bottom, your true nature, and the reflection of the sky, the Tao, disappears. Anxiety is that incessant wind that prevents you from seeing clearly. But the wind cannot stir the water forever. It calms down, and the water, by its very nature, seeks tranquility and clarity. Do not fight the wind. Wait for its calm. Anxiety arises from your attachment to the future and your resistance to the present. You have become attached to expectations about how things should be, and you fear what might happen. Thus, you live in a time that does not yet exist, and you forget the only time that is real, the now. Your happiness and your peace can only be found in the present moment. The flower that blossoms today does not worry about the winter that will come. It simply blossoms, accepting its nature and its cycle. The wise person, in their simplicity, understands that nature does not rush, yet everything is accomplished. Your hurry, your search for immediate results, is what feeds anxiety. You want the river to reach the sea before its time, but the river has its own rhythm and its own path. Learn from the river to flow, to bypass obstacles, and to accept the natural rhythm of things. Peace is not in the destination, but in the journey traveled with serenity. Anxiety is the fruit of your immoderate ambition and your inflated ego. You compare yourselves to others, you desire what you do not have, and you identify with your triumphs and failures. Thus, your inner peace becomes a hostage to external circumstances. The wise person does not seek the world's validation, but their own harmony. They find their happiness in being, and not in having or doing. True power resides in humility and in the acceptance of your smallness before the vastness of the Tao. Stillness is your greatest ally in the fight against anxiety. In silence, without the agitation of thoughts, you can hear the voice of the Tao that resides within you. When your mind is empty, the universe can fill it with wisdom. You have become accustomed to noise, to constant mental agitation, and you fear silence. But silence is not an absence, it is fullness. The vessel is more useful because of its emptiness, and your mind is wiser because of its stillness. Your search for control is the source of all your suffering. You want to control the future, the behavior of others, and the results of your actions. But the universe is a flow, and the only thing you can control is your own mind. Anxiety is your resistance to the flow of the Tao. Accept what cannot be changed, and your heart will be at peace. The wise person does not try to control the river. They allow themselves to be carried by its current, trusting in its final destination. Simplicity is the antidote to the complexity of your mind. You have complicated life with unnecessary desires, with complex opinions, and with impossible goals. Anxiety is the result of this mental tangle. Calm your mind, simplify your life, focus on what is essential, on what brings you peace, and the rest will resolve itself. A simple walk in nature, a meal shared with gratitude, a moment of silence. In these small things resides true wisdom. Before we continue, I ask you to like this video. By doing so, you help spread the wisdom of the Tao to others who, like you, seek clarity amidst the chaos. For this journey of tranquility to follow its flow, subscribe to this channel and leave a comment about which thought afflicts you the most. Your sharing is an act of courage and a step towards serenity. Now, to continue, You must understand that your anxiety is not an enemy to be fought, but a guest who brings you a message. It tells you that you have strayed from your center, from your natural flow. Instead of rejecting it, listen to it. What is the fear behind the worry? What is the unfulfilled desire? By observing anxiety without judgment, it loses its power over you. You are not your thoughts, and your peace does not depend on them. The wise person knows themselves, and for this reason, does not seek external knowledge. Your incessant search for information, for news, and for certainties is what feeds your anxiety. You have burdened yourselves with information, but you have emptied yourselves of wisdom. Disconnect from the noise of the world and reconnect with your inner voice. Your wisdom, your truth, resides in the silence of your soul. Anxiety is your resistance to the impermanence of life. You have become attached to people, to situations, to results, and you fear that they will change. But change is the only constant in the universe. The leaf that is green in summer must turn yellow and fall in autumn. Your peace resides in the acceptance of the natural cycle of life, in the understanding that everything that has a beginning has an end. Flow with life instead of holding it back. Humility is your shield against anxiety. When you recognize yourselves as a small part of the whole, your importance diminishes and your burden becomes lighter. Your eagerness for control and recognition comes from your illusion that you are the center of the universe. Free yourselves from that illusion, and anxiety will dissipate like the mist in the morning sun. Patience is your most important virtue. Anxiety is your impatience with life. It tells you that things must be your way, on your time. But patience is trust in the Tao, the belief that everything manifests in its own perfect time. The seed does not become a tree in one day. Have the patience of nature, and your peace will deepen. The wise person does not fear death, for they see it as a continuation of the flow, a part of the cosmic dance. Your fear of death is the source of many of your anxieties. But death is not your end. It is only a change of form. When you accept death as part of life, your anxiety dissolves, and you live each day with the fullness of the present moment. Anxiety makes you live in the future, but the present is the only place where life actually happens. You have prepared yourselves for a future that may never arrive and have forgotten to live today. Happiness is not something you achieve in the future. It is a state of being that you can inhabit now, at this instant, by freeing yourselves from your worries and by focusing on your breath, on the air that fills your lungs. Your mind is either a master or a slave. If you allow yourselves to be carried away by all your anxious thoughts, you will become a slave to them. But if you observe your thoughts without identifying with them, you will become the master of your mind. The wise person does not control their thoughts. They observe them and allow them to pass like clouds in the sky. Charity and kindness are antidotes to anxiety. When you focus on serving others, your mind is freed from its own selfish worries. By dedicating yourselves to the well-being of others, you discover a greater purpose that connects you with the flow of life, and your anxiety dissolves in the joy of service. The wise person seeks nothingness, emptiness, silence. You fear emptiness and fill it with noise, with distractions, with activities. But emptiness is where your creativity and your wisdom flourish. Emptiness is not an absence, but potential. Free yourselves from the need to fill every moment, and your anxiety will give way to peace. Your belief in separation in the idea that you are isolated individuals, is the source of your anxiety. You feel lonely and vulnerable. But I tell you that you are one with the Tao, one with the universe. Your life is interconnected with that of all beings and with nature itself. Free yourselves from the illusion of separation, and your anxiety will transform into a deep sense of connection and peace. The wise person lives in harmony with the flow of life, accepting its highs and lows. Anxiety is your resistance to this flow, your attempt to swim against the current. Allow yourselves to be carried by life. Trust the process. Life knows its way, and your duty is to flow with it instead of fighting it. And finally, remember the teaching of the bamboo. It does not fight the storm, it bends. Your resistance to what is causes you pain. Your ability to bend before crises, to accept what is your greatest strength. Your serenity is not the absence of storms, but your ability to remain firm in the center of yourselves, even when everything around you seems to be collapsing. Therefore, my friends, may your search for peace not be a struggle, but a return to your true nature. May your mind become a serene and clear lake, and may your life be a reflection of the infinite and unshakable serenity of the Tao. For true happiness is not in finding a treasure, but in discovering the treasure that has always been within you.